For a preview of this week's Prattville Lions football game. It's the Coach J.B. Wallace Show, coming to you live from Rock's Famous Barbecue in Prattville. Tonight's show is powered by Larry Puckett Chevrolet, by Durbin Auto Parts, Prattville Outdoors, Arrow Pest Control, and by Buffalo Rock Pepsi. Now, let's go live to Rock's Famous Barbecue for tonight's Coach J.B. Wallace Show.
Well, I tell you what, it's starting to become fall of the year. It's almost September. The days are starting to shorten up just a little bit. I would say there's a cool in the air, but that'd be a lie.
Yeah,
there's no cool in the air. It's nothing but hot. But it could only mean one thing. It is football season in Alabama. You know, football is important in every state. I feel like college football is a big deal everywhere, but in the state of Alabama, high school football is just a little bit different. And I really believe in the city of Prattville, it's even more, just a little bit different. It's a little bit more special. It's almost a way of life. So anyway, with that said, welcome into the 2023 Prattville Lions football season. Fans, thanks for joining us tonight on Dixie Country 100.1, and those of you tuning in on Facebook Live through Prattville Live, thanks for joining us. I want to welcome to the show the man the show's named after, Coach J.B. Wallace. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Well, Coach, let's just jump right in. I mean, we are no shortage of things to talk about tonight. You know, we've had a whole summer. A lot of changes often happen from the time that one football season ends going into the next football season. Right. So let's talk about staff changes. You're not immune to it. It happens everywhere. Right. So talk to us a little bit about staff changes, new people, new places, new faces, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Well, first thing, I think one of the heartbeats of your football program is the strength and conditioning program.
Sure.
So we've gained another strength coach. We lost Coach Morris to another school, so we gained Coach Richards, which he'll be on the show at a later date. But
okay.
That's where your program is built from the strength program. So
sure.
We've added him this summer. He's came in, brought a new breath of fresh air and
cool. New perspective.
Yes, sir. New perspective.
Young guy.
Yeah.
Appears to be.
Yeah. Young guy, great ideas. Very, very knowledgeable of what we're doing. When I look at the numbers, he and I discussed the numbers that our guys have put up since the summer from what they did in April. It is a huge difference.
Awesome.
Our guys have gotten stronger, gotten faster and bigger.
Yeah.
And things like that. He's in charge of tracking their weights, feeding program, and all that kind of stuff right now. So we've added him in our strength and conditioning role. We've also added, not a new coach, but Coach Lansdale got a promotion.
No stranger to you, by the way. He's worked with you for a few years.
He's worked with me for a few years. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have him, on staff a few years. I actually coached him years ago. I think around 2005, 2006. So, just to see him grow and mature into the man he is and the coach he is, I'm excited about that. But He's promoted himself. We promoted him to defensive coordinator. We've had a change up front, and not really a change. A lot of our things have been inside promotions.
Yeah.
Coach KJ Lawrence and Coach Bailey, they've been around the program, but they're kind of taking over our D-line, along with Coach Eddie Brown, which we all know him. The legendary Eddie Brown.
Well, you got two Eddie Browns, right?
Yes, sir. Got two, which is another addition as well.
Yeah.
We've added Eddie Brown the fourth to our program as a inside linebackers coach. He coached with us last year as a freshman defensive coordinator. And it didn't take me long to realize that, this guy is very passionate about the game, passionate about the preparation. That's kind of what I look for. I look for guys that are passionate about building men and the preparation for the game. Anybody can get excited for a Friday night and show up and want to coach on Friday night, but I need that kind of energy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Sure.
Sunday nights when everybody's home and we're working. So he fits that mold just like everybody else on the staff.
Fantastic. So there's a few a newcomer. Mostly you got guys who have just kind of climbed up through the system already. Right. So that's a nice update. Good to know. Now you mentioned some of the jumps as far as I don't not say fitness, but training. I mean, so you're seeing some trends of guys getting faster, guys getting stronger, max is going up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we started doing is competing in everything that we do.
Yeah.
So, we kind of started this thing, and I kind of tampered with it a little bit before Coach Richards got in, where we rate the players by their times that they run, things like that, so you know where you stand. And so he's kind of taken it and gone to another level. So, not just a 10-yard split, but we kind of measure them from your 15 to 25-yard and the 40. Like how fast are you picking up, your speed there. And so he started doing that, and our kids started just the first time they put up way back when and their last time is like night and day. So we're gaining team speed. Just weight room stuff, just new ideas and cutting edge things that we're doing in the weight room to build athleticism. And I think that's kind of foreign to some of the things that our guys were used to. Even through the time when we were still looking for a strength and conditioning coach, they worked hard and they worked their tails off. But just those cutting edge things that we're doing to build mobility, to stay healthy, and all those things. That's something that we've really gained a lot of ground on this offseason.
That's awesome. Now, Prattville High School football, it's kind of, it's almost not a machine, but, guys come through the program, they get bigger, faster, stronger, get better, and it's no stranger to placing guys in the college ranks. Mm-hmm. So this year, nothing different. I mean, there's a lot of new UAB fans because of a young man named Cam Shanks.
That's right. That's right.
There's some other fans. We've a lot of key positions, guys have graduated and moved on. Talk to us a little bit about some new faces that we're going to be seeing in some of those roles maybe this year, guys who have that you knew were coming, guys who have stepped up in the summer maybe. Just drop some names on us a little bit.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you mentioned a name like Cam Shanks.
Yeah,
and
hard to replace that one.
You don't replace a Cam Shanks, but
it's a 50-50 chance he's going to take it back anytime he takes a kickoff.
That's right. But, just looking at KJ Blue and how he's developed this offseason.
He's special.
He is, and he was playing alongside of Cam Shanks last year, so I'm expecting him to have a huge season.
Yeah.
Mayan Callan has been a young man that started this is his third year starting. He's been starting since he was a sophomore.
And he's got some leadership about him, I feel like.
He does. He has some leadership qualities about him. Great route runner, and he understands the game. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do at wide receiver as well.
And just a junior, right?
He's just a junior. Yeah. So Gavin Rigdon will be taking the helm at quarterback this year.
Gotcha.
He's a new face.
Been around,
and played in some games last year.
Yeah.
But definitely, this is his time. This is his team this year.
That's right.
Up front, I think offensive line wise, we've probably got more returning starters.
A lot of guys back.
Yeah, we've got a lot of guys back. When you start talking about the Garrett Mitchells and the Garrett Wildmans and all those guys like that, and Brian Moody, he's a guy that played some as a sophomore last year, and he's really taken a huge role in what we're doing this year. Zane Viscom is another young man that he's a
bunch of those guys here tonight for dinner.
A bunch of them here for dinner. So I hope they stocked up.
We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Yes, sir. But feeling real good about the offensive line. We've added Andre Wood. He's a young man that moved in, I think from Minnesota. So he's in here and he's getting better. He's kind of gelled with our guys. Donovan Arrington. He's a face that
the man child.
Kind of nicknamed him the Hemi is what I call him. But he's back at running back with Jordan O'Bonic.
Another junior, right, or is he a senior?
He's a senior, but Jordan O'Bonic, but he's a junior.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so offensively, I mean, those are the guys that you may have seen around in the past. And defensively, just that D-line that we had last year with what the leadership that Carmelo Smith brought and Wendeldrick brought, that replacing that, some guys had to really step up and really be those type of leaders that we're needing. So I'm expecting a huge year out of Cameron Underwood. He's a young man I'm expecting a lot out of. Stephon Gosen was another guy that we're expecting a lot of this season. We got a lot of young guys on D-line, like Votney Cleveland, who also turned some heads this offseason. I was
going to say, got some notoriety to some of those young guys, though. We got some offers from, serious programs.
That's right. But, still sophomore, works hard, and he's earned everything he's gotten. Callahan Minor is a guy that if you don't know him, you might want to get to know him.
You'll figure it out fast.
Oh, yeah. He's the next up and coming.
Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home lifestyle.
Luke Gordon made a name for himself about mid-season, and he just kept climbing. So I'm excited about seeing him.
The force is strong with him is what I heard. I don't know.
Yeah, Luke's something else now. He's something else. He watches a lot of film, but you have a lot of players that kind of just see things before they happen.
Right.
And Luke has that gift. He sees stuff before they happen. Sam Cook is a guy that's going to be an upcoming junior. Young guy, but I'm expecting big things out of him. In the secondary, I think we're more veteran in the secondary. We have 4 really returning starters with Caleb Bruce, George Thomas, and then at cornerback we have Zay Parrish and Clary is not a returning starter. Chris Clary is not a returning starter, but he's another young man that has stepped up and done well. And Jason Jr. is playing nickel for us this year, so being able to come in and try to fill the shoes of Carmelo Jones.
Jason Jr., who's that?
Well, you know, man,
Scooter?
Yeah, he eats all the food in the house. He's that guy. But you know, really been impressed with his growth this offseason and how he's coming, and he's expected to fill some big shoes of Carmelo Jones from last year.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and you're the head football coach, so you coach the whole game. I get it. But you're a defensive guy at heart. So
I got a little.
You're a defensive. You're a linebacker.
It depends on who you talk to. You know, I tell Coach Moncrief all the time. I try to talk to him and tell him, hey, I'm an offensive guy, and I think he's tired of me trying to hear it from me. So he goes along with me sometimes. But
well, you prepared for so many offenses over the years. You know the whole game, obviously.
Yeah, I'm an offensive guy, and Coach Moncrief will be a guest tonight on the show. So. Yeah. I imagine when we get some defensive guys on the show, I'll probably be a defensive guy that weekend.
I hear you. Mr. Stacy, how are we out on time? You want to keep going? Okay, yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about defense for one more second. I'm kind of excited. I know you hate to lose any kind of a coordinator, but I think Nick's going to do a good job with the defense as a defensive coordinator. Talk a little bit about him, and you did earlier, but a little more about the defense and about his leadership with them.
You know, I have no doubt. That's why it was a no-brainer for us to bring him in and promote him as a coordinator, because I know his work ethic.
Yeah.
I know he's a stickler on details. And I know where he started from, and I know what his morals are. I know exactly, you know, how he feels about building a defense. Yeah. You know, I've kind of seen him. We were a part of building a defense right up the road at a smaller school.
Yeah.
Where we basically ground zero. We built it, and he was part of that, and we've had some major success. So I know what he's capable of doing, and he's a great guy to have along with the players as well. Cares about it, great father. So it's no brainer.
It's fun to watch him because he can flip the switch and be excited with them and jump around, but he puts the coach hat back on and gets serious real quick.
That's right. That's right.
He can go both ways most of the time. Oh yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, fans, we are so glad that you have joined us tonight for the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Now, if you're out and about in Prattville, well, there's a bunch of Lions here. We'd love to invite you to come join us. We're live at Rock's Famous Barbecue at 307 South Memorial Drive right here in Prattville. So if you're out, come join us. We'd love to have you come watch the show live. Those of you who are tuned in on the radio, thanks for listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1. Those of you who are watching us on the Prattville Live Network, thanks so much for being a part of the show as well. You are listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Any good ways to cook catfish? Well, I tell them U.S. farm-raised catfish tastes really great when it's grilled with.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mills. I'm the General Sales Manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the Service Manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch on thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make the winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
Country 100.1, and those of you who are tuning in on the live stream on Facebook Live, thanks for being a part of the show. I'm your host, Chris Britton, and always the guy the show's named after, J.B. Wallace. He's here as well. But we're joined this segment by a special guest, fairly newly minted, appointed our new superintendent of schools, Mr. Lyman Woodfin. Mr. Woodfin, thanks for coming by the show tonight.
Hey, appreciate you guys having us. Always looking forward to every school year, but especially this one, and looking forward to seeing what we got this year. Ready to see the guys get after it.
Now, I'm assuming the general public knows this, but you're a coach. I mean, yeah, you're the superintendent,
right?
But there's a coach that lives inside there. Talk to us a little bit about your coaching experience, history, that kind of thing.
Yes, sir. I've been in Tulsa County all my life. I taught and coached at Marbury for many years. Got into administration, came to Prattville, assistant principal, athletic director, and went back to Marbury as the principal. And when you get out of coaching high school ball, I was able to coach my kids a little bit.
Right.
So get back to that fundamental joy as well. But no, I enjoy it. It's I always say, man, and these guys, I hope know this. I mean, every great coach is a great teacher.
That's right.
And Coach Wallace does a great job, always has.
Yeah, you said it, man. To be a coach, you got to know what needs to be said, but then you got to be able to communicate it well too in a way that people can understand.
That's right.
And well, y'all both do a great job of that. So, so superintendent, man, I'm sure it's been a whirlwind. Haven't been on the job too terribly long. How's it going?
It's going really well. School's off to a great start. The campuses seem to be doing really well. It's been good. It's been good to be able to get around and listen to some of the needs that our people need. And that's what's great about this job now is we're in a little more position to try to help our people get what they need to be successful. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. Try to give our people what they need to help our kids have the best opportunities they can possibly have.
Yeah, and I got an unfair opportunity. I got to hear some of your comments to the entire county staff, faculty and staff at the beginning of the school year, and there was just, I don't want to oversell it and say there was like this tremendous buzz, but there was a little buzz. I mean, there's some excitement in the county about what's going on, where things are already headed. Talk to us a little bit about where we are and where it's going.
Yeah, I think being local, has helped because I do know a lot of the people. I also understand a lot of the frustrations.
Sure.
And we're trying to give our people what they need so that those frustrations are not so evident.
Right.
But yeah, man, Institute Day went well. Everything got kicked off really well. You hit the nail on the head. It seems like a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just really looking forward to working with everybody to keep that momentum going.
That's right.
Really just been really preaching, what we fundamentally believe. We're going to try to treat people right, we're going to serve others, and we're going to take a pride in doing our job. And that's it in a nutshell, man. We're trying hard. And
I know you well enough to know what you're saying, treat people well. That's going to be something that's going to be modeled from the top and expected all the way down kind of thing. I'm assuming.
And look, I think it's human nature. I can't tell you that everything's been handled at all times the perfect way.
Sure.
We all make mistakes.
But come on.
It shouldn't stop our intentions. Our intentions should always be to do the right thing. And again, it's all about the kids. And that's not cliche. It's all about giving our students, our student athletes, everybody in our schools what they need to be successful. Because if we're not doing that, then why are we here?
Right.
We should be striving to do everything we can to help our kids
at
all times.
Coach Wallace, any comments? I know you guys have worked together for a good little while as well. So.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm very appreciative for him giving me an opportunity to coach with him at Marbury under his leadership as principal. But, one thing that always sticks out to me about him, for one, there were always clearly defined expectations.
Sure.
These are the expectations. And then he'd say, what do you need? And I don't know how he makes it happen, but he would always make it happen. If you say you need this and this is why you need it, he made it happen. And so, you were expected to do your job. And he always put the kids first. And that's something that it's obvious, when you're working with him, what do the kids need? And we want to give them the best we can give them.
Yeah.
He was always driven by that. And so
Sure.
I've seen it firsthand, so I know he's going to do great in his new position.
Fantastic. Well, Mr. Woodfin, I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Anything you want to talk about? Anything the community needs to know, something you need help with?
Well, let me say this to begin with.
Yeah.
And, obviously most of you know I've known Coach Wallace a long time, consider him a very good friend. I don't think people fully understand the amount of time that our coaches and their families put into this. And
right.
I just want to say publicly how much I appreciate our coaches, Coach Wallace, his coaches, their families, because it's a sacrifice for the families as well.
No doubt.
And we all know this going into it. But the flip side is hopefully our guys know, and I again, worked with Coach Wallace a long time. I've seen it firsthand. you're not going to find somebody that loves his kids more than he does, that puts in the time that he does. I used to give him a hard time all the time. I was like, man, y'all got to go home sometimes, man. I mean, you're up here all the time. But I just want to say that how much I appreciate what the coaches and what the kids do, because that's a part of it that the public don't see. You go into Friday night, you know, you're there, you're watching the game, but you don't see the guys are at the ball field at 6:30. I'm assuming if it's still the same schedule, guys, is that about right? They're at the school at 6:30. If coach is still doing the things he's always done, you're watching film before practice, you're watching film after practice, you're going to be prepared. And, you know, sitting on my side of the desk now looking across, you know, I just want the public to know that's the reality of what our coaches and our players.
Yeah. It's not just to show up on Friday night.
It's not hey,
by a long shot.
The old coaching saying everybody wants to win on Friday night. Not everybody wants to do what it takes to win on Friday night. And you know, you're just not going to see guys put in the time that Coach Wallace and his staff does. I've seen it firsthand. I appreciate the guys, appreciate the families, appreciate everybody that goes into all of what we're trying to do, but especially, you know, our football program. And I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how the season goes. Really excited to do everything we can to give our kids what they need, give our coaches what they need. But you know, the frustration right now is, you know, you want to make quick changes, you know, but sometimes in education, we said it in the Institute Day, you know, sometimes you just got to set the path and go, all right, a year or two, this is where we want to be, and that's hard.
Yeah.
You know, your human nature is you want to make that change right now.
You can't turn a ship on a dime.
Hey, we need new facilities. We need all this stuff. I would want to do it tomorrow, but there's a process that it takes.
Right.
And you know, that's the frustration. But we just got to make sure that when we look ourselves in the mirror, that we know we're doing everything we can to help our coaches and our kids have what they need, and that's going to be the goal.
That's right. That's right. Any parting shots? Anything else you want to cover tonight? I mean, we sure appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man.
Look, I appreciate you guys having us, and I appreciate what y'all do as well. I mean, you're giving up time to highlight our kids, highlight our coaches, and any successful program, you got to have buy-in from the community, from everybody on all sides of the aisles, and I feel really good where we're at. I think we're getting there. I think y'all are there. It's just we just got to keep working together, and again, keep pushing for the kids, because at the end of the day, whether we agree or disagree on policy or whatever, at the end of the day, it's about the kids, and let's give them what they need, and let's rally around that.
I hear you. Well, Mr. Woodfin, thanks so much for stopping by tonight. We really appreciate you joining us on the show.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Well, fans, with that said, you can hear, you can't see them if you're watching the show, but there's a whole bunch of football players here, and a lot of them are O-linemen, so if you're going to come eat, you better come now, because there might not be food left later. I'm just saying. But anyway, we want to thank those of you who are listening to the show on Dixie Country 100.1. Also, those of you who are tuned in on the Prattville Alive Network on Facebook. Thanks for being a part of the J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the River region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still number one today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
is U.S. farm-raised catfish?
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
They do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
How about that? For the millions and no, I'm kidding. Little rock impersonation there. But thanks for tuning in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. So glad you joined us on the radio with Dixie Country 100.1, and those of you tuning in through Facebook Live as well. Coach Wallace, we've got one of your staff members who's going to join us for this section, this segment of the show, rather. I want to allow you to introduce us to the young man who's going to join us for this segment.
Well, this segment, we've asked Coach Moncrief to come on. He's our offensive coordinator.
Gotcha.
Going into his second season as offensive coordinator. Yep. He's been here since I've been here as the head coach, so he's a guy that I trust. He works hard, loves the kids, great father, great man, and you never knew how it was going to happen. Coach Moncrief and I would have conversations probably, 4 or 5 years ago, and I said, look, man, we're going to make it happen. I don't know how, I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And then things lined up, we talked, and we were able to get him here at his home school because he graduated from here as well.
I was going to say, no stranger to the program.
That's right. I've seen him develop as a young man, as a great football player. Now he's coaching other young men. So Coach Moncrief, our offensive coordinator, is on the show today.
Coach Clay Moncrief, thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you, bud.
Well, introduce us to the offense a little bit this year. Tell us, maybe some names, what to expect. The floor is yours. Talk about the offensive side of the football.
Well, really I'll start with the players.
Yeah.
We play with a certain mindset.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know who we're going to be. We know from the daily grind of how we're going to play.
Yeah.
We know which attitude we got to come to the field
Sure.
with. So I won't really get into individual players because this group is so tight knit. We're really having a great unique fit, starting to evolve. It's been great to watch our staff and our players interact. And as far as our staff goes, it's great to have some key guys back, and the continuity is there, and we think alike, and we can finish each other's sentences.
That's awesome.
When we're on the same page and that thing's rolling, it can be really scary.
That's cool. It's like Coach Wallace and I were talking about a little bit earlier. You lost some key players. I mean, there were some guys that got some stuff done last year, but you got some very apt replacements coming in this year.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, every year we're going to have to adjust and adapt.
Always.
To who we have and what we do best. And I think our identity is totally different to what it's been in the past.
Sure. Coach Wallace, talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball and Coach Moncrief's leadership with those guys.
Yeah, well, like Coach Moncrief said, what our identity is, that's something that we work in the off season, and you really don't know your identity in November, December, January, February. You really don't know your identity, and sometimes you kind of figure out your identity about midway through spring once you work with them a little bit, and like he said, it's going to be a little bit of a different identity that we've had in the last few years, but I think it's going to be great for what we do and our personnel. And our guys are excited. Like you mentioned, tight-knit group. That the offense is probably as tight as it's probably ever been.
I think half the offense is here tonight, actually.
Well, if you do it by pound, half of them here. Half of them here, we do it by weight.
Well played.
I get one on that one.
Maybe 3/4 of them, I don't know.
Yeah, but man, Coach Moncrief has done a great job just, finding out what we do and how we do and what we do well, and being able to put our guys in that position. I don't think a day goes by to where, he and I are talking about something that's crossed his mind or crossed my mind, and like he says, I might call him. I say, Coach Moncrief, let me meet with you. And when I'm saying something to him, he's finishing my sentence. Awesome. It's almost like that.
A lot of continuity.
Yeah, we're on the same page there, and that's me, him, and a lot of guys on the staff. So I'm excited to see those guys work hard and and get the productivity that they work for.
All right, we're going to pause just a moment for a station identification, then we'll be right back with more with Coach Moncrief. Coach Moncrief.
WDXX Selma Prattville, home of Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Prattville and Puckett, a winning combination.
All right, we're back. Thank y'all for pausing with us on that break. Coach Moncrief, So we already made alluded to it. You're a product of this program. You are a Prattville Lion, came up a Prattville Lion always. You've coached other places, but you've always been a Lion, let's just face it. What does it mean to you to be back at your alma mater coaching?
What it means to me is to be able to do things culture-wise that I know the way it should be done.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. And having guys a couple guys on our staff is really important because they understand that culture. And every day that energy is brought, and the players can see the energy between the coaches, and they bring it, and it makes them rise up too. So, Prattville Lions football has always been played a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's why all the T-shirts, the old T-shirts say this is Prattville football.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
I hear you. And you're no stranger to success at Prattville, and you've seen it, and there's been success in recent years, and there's no doubt expectation for more this year and following too. So it's kind of the Prattville way, right?
That's right. Well, the goal is every year to go 1-0 every week.
That's right.
And win the championship.
Do it again.
And keep on climbing.
That's right. So, you're a family full of Prattville Lions. DeKendrick, what's he doing these days? And I'm being selfish now, wanting to catch up.
Kendrick is he's in Vegas, and hopefully get married soon.
Okay. But, you tell him I said if we play 1-on-1, I can take him still basketball.
I don't know.
Challenge.
He's still.
I'm hoping he doesn't. I hope he doesn't come to Prattville and take me up on that challenge. Okay. Boo Man, what's he doing?
He's in Saskatchewan.
Okay. Still playing the Canadian Football League.
Playing ball, married, first child 2 months ago. Just about 2 months ago. So my first niece.
Okay.
He's doing very, very well.
And the dad's still in town. Is he helping out with football a little bit?
Yeah, that's the other coach, Moncrief. He's over at PCA.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool deal. That's cool. All right. Are we ready for a break, or are we good? Okay. Well, what else do we need to know about the offense then?
The thing about the offense that I think everyone needs to know is
the O-line's looking at you like, is he going to talk about us?
The O-line, everything starts with them.
There you go.
And they know it. Everything starts with them. And our standard is very high.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they are player-led.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot that I have to say. They know the way we do things, and their expectations are just the same as the coaches.
I got you. And I like what you were saying earlier. Maybe speak more to this. You can either react to what the defense is. Well, I guess it's a give and take. You want to set the tone and do what you do, right. But there's also an element of they're leaving this open. Right. Maybe we don't normally do it, but we're about to abuse this.
Yes,
talk about that give and take a little bit.
Well, when you're filling out a game, it's kind of slowed down for me. Last year was a real adjustment.
Sure.
The first couple of games, but it slowed down a little bit, and we're just going to take what the defense gives us, run the ball, and if we need to throw the ball, if they're going to leave something open, we'll take that as well. But we're still going to push the ball down the field, and things like that. But the biggest thing is just really going to be take what's there.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy. His name's Nick Saban that says he talks about imposing your will, right? And I think there's a little bit of that you've got enough physicality. I'm guessing that's part of the plan for you guys.
Yes, sir. We have a huge offensive line that moves people, and Coach Myers, he prides himself in making sure they have the right angles, the right footwork.
Little things matter.
He's worked his way to go, and those guys take on his personality, and 2 big running backs to go right behind him.
That's right. Coach, anything else you want to talk about on the offensive side of the ball, these guys?
I think Coach hit the nail on the head. It starts up front with the offensive line.
Yeah.
We're putting a lot of responsibility on them, and we wouldn't be doing it if we didn't feel like we could.
Yeah.
They've shown what they're capable of doing. They've shown that they're a tight-knit group, and we can kind of put a lot of weight on their back. So, to protect the quarterback, to aid us in the run game, all that kind of stuff, I don't doubt at all that they can get it done. Expectation for those guys are high.
Now, I've heard a rumor of the evolution of an O-lineman who's moved out to tight end, kind of a tall fella. Is that a secret weapon? Are we talking about that?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. All right.
No, we have Clayton Bowrider.
Okay, yeah.
Clayton Bowrider started left. I was just joking with him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's started left tackle for us last year, and he's transitioned to tight end.
He's kind of an athlete. That makes sense.
He is an athlete. He is an athlete. State track athlete as well. So definitely a guy that can get the job done. So what it allows us to do, we can play with 6 linemen on the field at any given time. Yeah. You know, and one that can go out and make plays in space.
And then forget about him, and then he's going to make you. He's going to punish you.
There you go.
So I like it. I'm excited. And I'm not even a football coach. I mean, if I was out there, I'd have him bouncing the ball, and that's the wrong sport.
He can dunk it too, now.
I've heard. I heard he's going to play basketball.
I'm sure he's watching, and he's going to remind us that he can dunk it too.
Clayton, you ain't nothing, man. All right, just no, I'm kidding. All right, we're going to land it for a break. Okay, yeah. All right, well, fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, we still got plenty of J.B. Wallace Show left, so if you're out and about, come join us at Rock's Famous Barbecue, 307 South Memorial Drive. I can smell some food's making into this room. It looks kind of good, but there's still plenty of food for you guys, too. Come on out and join us. We'd love to have you here live at Rock's Barbecue. Also, those of you listening on Dixie Country 100.1, thanks for tuning in. Those of you watching on Prattville Live, thanks for being a part of the J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back after this break.
Durbin Auto Parts on South Memorial Drive is proud to be a supporter of Prattville Lions Athletics. As your locally owned CarQuest dealer, the Durbin family assures you that they'll get the right parts the first time. They also carry the full line of steel power equipment and die-hard batteries. When you do business with Durbin Auto Parts, your money stays in Prattville so they can support the local community and great programs like Prattville Lions Athletics. Durbin Auto Parts, 948 South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
Think local. Think of all the skill and talent found right here in our community. Hands that build, hands that feed, teach, protect, and hands that heal. Guardian Credit Union reaches out to people just like you. Handling loans for new cars, opening doors to new homes, saying yes to fun and adventure. When you need a strong, steady financial hand, think local. Think Guardian.
You know why I purchased my vehicles from Larry Puckett Chevrolet?
Hi, I'm Greg Pouncey. I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 20 years.
I'm Kurt Mills. I'm the General Sales Manager, and I've been with Larry Puckett Chevrolet for 34 years.
I'm Lewis Mills. I'm the Service Manager at Larry Puckett Chevrolet, and I've been here for 35 years.
Well, that's why. Unlike other dealers, I know they will be there when I need them. At Larry Puckett Chevrolet, they let the customers do the talking.
It's a long pass down the amazing aisles at Prattville Pickers. It's a great catch, shown thousands of incredible treasures. It's the biggest lineup of rustic wood furniture at the Depot Furniture Gallery. It's the national champion of antiques, collectibles, treasures. The Depot Furniture Gallery at Prattville Pickers. A winning combination for home, lifestyle, and recreation. Don't let the game clock run out before you make the winning catch at Prattville Pickers. Highway 82 West. Shop PrattvillePickers.com and Facebook.
For the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. Those of you who are listening to us on the radio on Dixie Country 100.1, thanks for tuning in. Also, those of you watching us on Facebook, we're so glad that you are watching the show. Sorry we're not any better looking than we are, but, you know, just working with what the Lord gave us, right? So, anyway. Well, Coach stepped away for just a moment. Let me catch up on a few things. One, there's a new sport, I guess you could say, a new flag football. Any of you guys keep up with that? Yeah. So Prattville High School had their first. I don't know. Oh, are they playing tonight? Oh, I thought the junior high was playing. Oh no, the junior high's over at Millbrook, so they got a game tonight. That's what it is. Okay. So anyway, the ladies flag football team in the first Prattville flag football game in the history. If I'm not mistaken, fellas, they won. It was 18-16 in overtime. Yeah. So Opelika, the big L in there, like how I did that. So anyway, so that was a big night for the ladies, and that's one that'll go down for the ages. I mean, that was the first ever game. It was a W. I don't know who takes the credit as the head coach. If it's Pittman. I know Fisher's out there, and then Coach Battle's out there. So anyway, three-headed monster, I guess. So congratulations to the ladies last night.
Yes,
right?
sir.
On the
Absolutely.
first ever flag football win for Prattville in overtime fashion. Yeah,
yes,
man.
Big time
and they're
win.
playing right now. I didn't realize that down at the stadium.
They are.
All right, cool. Yes, well, let's just talk about that. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Prattville. Another thing going on, the junior high school, which for lack of a better term, is a feeder program for you. They've got a ball game over in Millbrook tonight, playing Millbrook Middle.
Right.
So talk a little bit about what that program means to you guys as they, part of the journey is going through there to get to you at the high school.
Well, I'll tell you, the potential of the junior high program, man, is untapped potential down there. Got to spend a little time with them this summer.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the guys that they have there in that 8th grade group in particular. The skilled players in that group at receiver, quarterback, running back, defensive back. That skill group is going to be a very talented group as they continue to progress. They have some size on the O-line and defensive line, but just one thing that jumps out at me are those skill guys just jumping up making plays.
How about that?
And they're already
young.
They're young. And I think the 7th grade group is going to eventually, the size, they're going to be bigger kids in 8th grade.
How about that?
They have a good quarterback in that group. I saw 5 or 6 guys that are difference makers as far as making plays on the ball, and everybody's working hard.
That's awesome.
I'm excited to see what they turn into.
That's awesome. That's fun to think about. Fun stuff. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about. I know. So we got the Player of the Week award that we always give out. Now there's some other ones too. Now I'm a little selfish plug here. Chris Britton, Alpha Insurance, give me a call, right? But I'm going to sponsor a Fan of the Week, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the weeks go on. But we got a game football for the Fan of the Week, so fans stay tuned. We'll tell you more about how you can be the Fan of the Week. But what are some of the other awards that are being given out?
Well, one that we were able to give out this week.
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, we gave out the Student of the Week award.
Maybe the most important one.
It is the most important one. That's one of the ones I'm most proud of for sure.
Yeah.
And we let all our teachers get involved in issuing that award. They all play a part in it. Football players that are doing what they're supposed to, improving in what they're doing in class, or already on top of their game in class, leadership in the classroom, all that stuff. So Garrett Mitchell. They probably know him as Big G.
Yeah.
So Big G.
Where the camera,
Yeah, he was the Student of the Week this week, so excited about that.
Yeah.
I don't
What's the criteria for that? They got to be nominated by a teacher, right?
They have to be nominated by a teacher. And so this year, we were able to build a academic team made up of teachers in the school that have a common place with our football players. They want to see our football players do well and want to help them and do better and things like that. So we built an academic team with Miss Myers, Miss Garden, Miss Justina, who typically works in the front office. She's part of the academic team. Miss Roberts, and also one of our counselors, which I just went, Miss Scott.
Okay.
Miss Scott, she's one of our academic members as well. So those ladies are part of, I told them, hey, you guys are coaches. You're one of us. And they're on it. They're always sending a group message or an email. Hey, look, we have this going on. We have that going on. This student needs to make up this assignment. I mean, nothing happens without those ladies knowing something about it. And they let the coaches know, and we go with it from there. So, man, I'm very excited about what we're building with those ladies and what the futures are in that program.
That's exciting, and football is important, but education is vastly more important, and I love the emphasis on that. That's awesome.
Right. With anything though, with the football players, knowing that these ladies have their best interests in mind,
right.
You get a lot of things that don't go so bad in the classroom because they're involved.
That's right.
And that's kind of the relationship that I want to build between our athletes and our teachers.
Yeah.
And man, I'm just so excited that those ladies stepped up and they've just taken. I kind of gave them our vision, and they took it and ran with it. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited.
So, all right, now who's sponsoring the Student of the Week?
Well, we have 3 sponsors right now, and if anybody would like to sponsor our Student of the Week, give me a call or email me, and I'll let you know how you can get involved. But right now, SEED, that's an acronym, which is a nonprofit organization by Kelsey Shepard, who is a Prattville great. He sponsors our Student of the Week award. Also, County Commissioner Mr. Larry Studdemeyer sponsors it, and also City Councilman Marcus Jackson.
Okay.
He sponsors our Student of the Week award.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then any other award? I mean, there'll be offense, defense, MVP.
Yes, we'll have a offensive player of the week, defensive player of the week, and a special team player of the week. Soul Revival, we have our Soul Revival. They've offered to sponsor those. We have our Money Team player of the week. And that is sponsored by, or typically been sponsored by Subway. And we'll also have some others for JV Player of the Week and things like that. So I'm looking for people to fill some of those spots when we get our 9th grade and JV going to want to sponsor those Player of the Week.
I kind of want to be up for one of those awards because Miss Nieves at Soul Revival can cook the fire out some fried chicken.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Tell you right. It's kind of good.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Shout out to Miss Nieves, by the way. So anyway, let's see. Tell me about some key leaders that are stepping up that you've seen over the summer. Like you said, I mean, you got the Cam Shanks that have graduated. Quiet leader, but he didn't have to say a whole lot. He just did it with his action. Introduce us to maybe some leaders that are kind of stepping up throughout the summer and into the beginning of the year.
Well, I'll tell you, I called some guys out in the beginning.
Yeah.
And one of the crucial pieces that I may not have mentioned, and it crossed my mind, is our kicker, Reed Montgomery. Reed Montgomery, man, his leg has been live all summer, all fall camp. I mean, he's been live, so I'm excited to see him, kicking the ball.
Yeah.
Also, Porter Sutton is our punter, and man, he's booming the ball as well. So, those guys have come up in the program. Porter, this is his 2nd year in the program since I've been here, so I've seen these guys kind of develop and how they work, and I'm excited about our kicking game and what they're going to bring to the table.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and of course, we talked about our quarterback. It starts with the offensive line, but then you have to have someone that can kind of manage the offense and make sure offense operates. And so Gavin Rigdon is definitely clearly a guy that we're expecting to do that and do that at a high level.
Sure.
So, just excited to see him get the ball to our playmakers. I think he's starting to feel comfortable in that pocket with the offensive line protecting him and all those things that come with it. We also mentioned Donovan Arrington, who's a senior. Runs the ball hard, and he's a load too. He's a 6'1", 220-pound running back. So, running the ball hard. So he's definitely going to have his touches this year offensively. And KJ Blue, which you all know from last year.
Sure.
I mentioned him early in the show. At any given time, he can go the distance with it.
Yeah.
And we're expecting him to do that. Zay Parrish has been a guy that has done offense and defense. He's going to have a role in our offense as well to be able to get that type of speed on the field with KJ along with some of the other guys.
Yeah. Now we'll probably have to wrap 2 different segments on this one, but let's talk a little bit about the schedule.
Okay.
I mean, it's. You look at there's just a ton of talent in our region for one thing. So I mean that's a thing. So obviously, and we'll talk more in depth about the game. But tomorrow night got a road trip headed down to Foley.
Right.
Let's talk about that one just for a minute.
Well, for one, when you look at after Foley, we played Foley last year. They got things together and they kind of hit a streak.
Yeah.
Where they went on a roll and had a playoff run and all that. Have talented guys down there. Huge offensive linemen. They're very talented in the secondary.
Yeah.
So we definitely got to go out and play some mistake-free football, and I'm sure we'll discuss more about that game.
Yeah.
But Foley, that's definitely a team you need to know from that area.
Yeah. Then you got a bye week early, the second week, which probably not your. If you had to wish for it, you probably wouldn't want that early in the season, but you get what you get.
Yeah, you get what you get, and we kind of had to roll with it.
Yeah.
But it kind of reminds me of, back in the day when there was no bye week.
Yeah.
We kind of played 10 straight, so this gives us an opportunity. You got 9 straight after this one, so we get to play this game. We get to make corrections and get better.
Yeah.
Because early in the year, you can't afford to take a week off, and we're not going to take the week off. We're going to work, and we're going to get better. We're going to be ready to play for the next week, and then, we go into region play just like that.
Smith Station, at home at least. That'll be the first home ball game, September 8th. So that'll be a fun one. Then take off to the road for a couple of weeks, Dothan, Opelika. Some decent distance on those.
Right.
That presents another challenge every week.
Well, and that's the beauty of that, and this game is as important as the rest, but it's a non-region game.
Sure.
But we get to go on the road and we get to work on travel. Just like you practice everything else. This is kind of a dry run with travel.
Yeah.
And being able to get our team together and to move that many guys. I mean, you're looking at right at 100 guys that we're moving from one location to another, and we're expecting it to be organized. We're expecting them to have a business-like mentality.
Sure.
That's what we're expecting. So that can be a issue sometimes when you're dealing with 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, but I have no doubt that our team can get that done and do it the way it's supposed to. But all that stuff plays a role in being able to participate and perform at a Friday night.
Yeah.
So our goal on the road is to be able to get to where at some point in time we can get to a normal schedule.
Yeah.
So when we base our travel and we build our schedule, you know, kind of like 3 o'clock is the time for us. At 3 o'clock, I want to be on a normal game day schedule. So we do everything we do to get to 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock is just like second nature for our guys because now they know the routine and they understand what we're doing.
Way, whatever.
Yes, sir. At 3 o'clock is on, and so there's not much difference.
And quick question: some games are getting pushed back, so tomorrow night is not getting pushed back, correct?
No, sir. We're going to play at 7 p.m. We're going to play at 7 p.m. in Foley. We're not getting pushed back.
All right, well, we're going to move to a break in just a moment, but we'll come back, finish off the schedule, and look at tomorrow night's game a little bit more in depth in just a moment. So, fans, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight. Those of you who are listening to us on Dixie Country 100.1, thanks for being a part of the show. Also, those of you who are tuning in on Facebook through the Prattville Alive Network, thanks for being a part of the show as well. You're listening to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. We'll be right back right after this break.
Do your ribs rock? Like slap your daddy rock? Rock's Famous Barbecue across from Baptist Hospital on South Memorial Drive in Prattville has the most amazing barbecue in the region. And the service is almost as good as the amazing food. Check out the menu online at rocksfamousbbq.com. Phone 224-8903 for takeout or dine in, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. If your barbecue pork and chicken ain't rocking, you ain't been to Rock's Famous Barbecue, South Memorial Drive, Prattville.
For well over 50 years, the river region has depended on Arrow Pest Control, which has grown to be one of the largest and most respected pest control science leaders in the area. Pest control is a science that eliminates pests that invade and potentially damage your property. They use only the top-rated pest control products, including the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. Arrow Pest Control was built on customer service and satisfaction, and that's still #1 today. Call us, 334-365-4610, and find out about mosquito control. Arrow, your best shot for pest control.
I only use U.S. farm-raised catfish.
We've been selling U.S. farm-raised catfish since 1978.
They do have a choice for a good, wholesome, safe fish. We know it's a good product.
Ask for U.S. farm-raised catfish, only the finest, freshest, tastiest. You can taste the difference.
From our farm to your table, your family deserves the best. U.S. farm-raised catfish.
It's 629.20.
Welcome back, Prattville Lions Nation. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Coach J.B. Wallace Show. I'm your host, Chris Britton. Oh, y'all can talk. You're good. Yeah. But thanks for being a part of the show tonight. We've got a bunch of Lions football players, bunch of Lions fans in here tonight. So if you weren't able to make it out for the show this evening, we would invite you to come another week. Now, we'll let you know where we're going to be. We're here at Rock's Famous Barbecue at 307 South Memorial Drive here in Prattville tonight. There will be some nights where we're down at the stadium with junior high football games in the backdrop. So just keep a tab on Facebook and you'll know where we're at and what's going on. So we'd love to have you be a part of the show live whenever you can. Well, Coach, let me throw this one to you. Talk a little bit about some of the sponsors that we have for the season this year and maybe throw out a little thanks to those folks. So that matters.
Right. Well, I want to thank all of our sponsors that have taken the time to support our program and help us provide some of the things that our guys need. You know, we play 7A football, so it's not cheap to play that type of football because we want to put our guys in the best equipment and things like that. So our sponsors play a huge role, like Arrow Pest Control. You know, thank you for sponsoring us. CBE, TNT Fireworks was a sponsor this year. Buckner and Cook has been a sponsor. But all those huge sponsors, we really do appreciate them getting involved in what we're doing. And also our game day sponsors and also our Player of the Week sponsors. All that comes together to help us create the atmosphere we need for our guys.
Yeah, it makes it happen. That's awesome. Well, Coach, you've been working since the last whistle of the last game last year to tomorrow night, working towards a season that kicks off tomorrow night.
Right.
Well, let's talk about that ball game tomorrow night. Going to go on the road.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of travel involved to get down to Foley. Tell us a little bit about the Foley team and what we can expect to see out there on the field.
Well, of course, you know, when you Google the name Foley, whatever, you know, Perry Thompson comes up. He's definitely a talented athlete. He plays receiver for him, and also will play some DB. So being able to minimize his success and corral him is going to be huge in our success. But, you know, first game, you know, you got to worry about first game jitters.
Sure.
You know, things like protecting the football and misaligning and things like that defensively. Those are the things that are key.
Silly flags.
Silly flags, yeah. You know, minimize those, and that's something that we talk about as a staff and as a team. You know, just minimize the mistakes that we can control.
Sure.
We can control lining up right. We can control if we're offsides or not, things like that. And also, we want to gain an advantage special teams. We put a whole lot of emphasis in working our special teams, and we do it every year. But this year, you know, just looking at these guys, it's a little different. It's special this year. Actually, special team wise, I had a player come to my office today, and we sat there and we talked for 30 minutes today on special teams.
How about that?
He's a special teams contributor, and that's what we talked about today because it means something to him. So I'm excited about all that.
Now I want to tell a special team story, and then we'll come back to the game.
Yes, sir.
But the first, I didn't really know you. Caleb Ross was the head coach. He invited me to continue kind of being a part of the program and hanging around. And so you had one day at practice, I mean early on in the summer, and you had brought the special teams guys into one of the rooms right before you went outside. And I just sat in the back room and listened. And it wasn't rah-rah, and it wasn't anything special. But when it was over, you were walking out of the room, I grabbed you on the arm and said, I could play for you, sir.
You know, and I can recall that. And I don't know exactly. Yes, sir. I don't remember exactly what I said or how I said, but I do recall that. That's probably the first time you and I had an interaction.
That was the first conversation
we had. Yes, sir. I do recall that.
Yeah. So tomorrow night they've got the stud out wide receiver.
Yes,
what
sir.
else on the offense can the Prattville fans be looking for?
Well, they have a 230-pound running back that runs the ball well. And he was actually 250 last year on paper, but you could tell that he's kind of transformed his body a little bit, and he's moving much better.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way to definitely keep him behind the chains and don't let him get going, because once he's get going, he's something to deal with.
Head of steam,
they have a South Alabama commit on the offensive line at left tackle.
Yeah.
Definitely, you know, they put a lot of belief in that he can get it done as far as leaving him by himself and protections and things like that. So we got to mix him up and find a way to pressure the quarterback. Quarterback, by the way, is a new kid, the one that had last year graduated. So this is going to be one of his first games.
Not a ton of tape out there.
Yeah, not a ton of tape. So we really don't know a lot about him. We just know a little bit. But I do think that we can definitely keep him on his toes and kind of change the way he sees the field and things like that.
Defensive side of the ball, what are they bringing?
Well, they're going to be a 4-2-5 a lot of the times, and they will play an odd front, which is a three-man front. You know, secondary-wise, like I mentioned before, they are talented in the secondary. I think they're more talented in the secondary probably than they are anywhere else. They have some solid linebackers. Coach Moncrief has been talking with the staff about different ways to approach those guys and how we can handle those guys. So, you know, we got to fun and gun and really lean on them.
That's right. And we talked about it a little bit, but that big day of travel, just let's touch on that one more time. We got a couple of minutes.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll leave in the morning at 11 o'clock is when we'll leave. So we have a full morning plan before that. You know, we start with prayer breakfast. I want to thank United Christian for providing Pastor Thaley for providing prayer breakfast for us tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. So we'll start there, then we'll leave from there and come to the school for a walkthrough. Dr. Ferris, he's offered an opportunity to have a line walk for the guys, so we're going to do that for the whole school. That's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And then shortly after, our guys will be released from class to get ready to load the bus at 11 o'clock. Going to head down there, we'll make a stop, do all that good stuff, and maybe a walk through, and we'll head eat pregame meal. And then at that time, we're on schedule.
And it's 3 o'clock is kind of when that schedule starts?
About 3 o'clock, somewhere around 3 o'clock. That's when we get to a normalcy.
I gotcha. So big travel day. We got about a minute left. What are you looking for from Prattville fans tomorrow night?
Man, I'm looking for.
We travel well.
Yes, sir, we do, and I'm looking forward to having just as many fans there as they have. I mean, that's the expectation of Prattville. I don't like to feel like I'm in a opponent stadium when we go. I want to feel at home.
Yeah.
So when we step on the field and we got our fans there and they're loud and they're there to support, then we're at home and our guys play like they're at home. That's awesome. I don't like to play away games. We play home games away.
So fans, get on 65, go south, get to Foley, Go early, eat at Lambert's if you want to, whatever. But just make the drive south and support the Lions tomorrow night. You'd be much appreciated. Well, Coach, it's been a joy to catch back up to kick off a new year as far as our radio show goes. So thanks for being here tonight. Hey, guys that came out, thank you so much for being here. Y'all are awesome. All right, fans, well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's J.B. Wallace Show. Stick around. Hey, Coach is next with Coach Nick Saban. See you next time.